Thanks for joining us for the March edition of Three Squares. We are thrilled that you are here. We've got a very exciting guest today. I'm a fanboy already, and it's going to cost me money. I'm confident of that. So I'm Charlie Arnott with the Center for Food Integrity and Look East, focusing on trust in the food system. My co-hosts, Kevin Ryan and Susan Schwally.
And I'm Susan Schwally, a seasoned consumer insights researcher who is at large currently looking for my next role. And I love all things food. So Kevin, turn it over to you.
Kevin Ryan with Malachi Strategy and Research, helping CPG and food service companies at the front end of innovation and strategy.
So Susan, I believe you have the honor of introducing our guest.
I do. I am super excited because not only is Jane a talented, just super talented person, but she is just so lovely, and we're going to have a great conversation. So today we have Jane Freiman with us, the founder of the Smart Kitchen Insights Group. Jane runs a full-service virtual test kitchen that aims to help food and appliance companies. She has a strong love of cooking, but also a keen understanding of cooking behaviors, and that helps her drive innovative strategies for her clients. Her expertise is very broad. It covers everything from trend tracking to consumer research. She serves as a spokesperson as needed. She can develop content and recipe strategy creation, food photography, product testing of food and appliances, and prep direction development for food and usage manuals for appliances. I suspect both she and Kevin have authored cookbooks, which they can comment on in a moment. Jane is a consumer advocate. She has more of 30 years in kitchen experience. She has worked and shared best practices for recipe development around the globe, including Mexico, Belgium, Australia, and Canada. The bulk of her background, she spent 27 years as a leader of the Campbell Soup Company's Consumer Test Kitchen, where she provided consumer cooking insights and trends to the broader Campbell's business. And I had the honor and privilege of working with Jane and her team in a prior life. And I know Jane has always instilled the understanding in me that you could trust the recipes that she and her team developed to work, unlike some of the other things on the website. But that's because she understood the realities of the home cook and how to make them successful. Also, one of the things I know near and dear to Jane's heart and ours is that she launched a cross-functional, enterprise-wide Kitchen of the Future team to keep a finger on the pulse of trending technology. This team researched and identified appliance manufacturers, kitchen startups, and internet food communities to partner with, and also tested new smart connected kitchen tools. As I mentioned, I've had the distinct pleasure of working with Jane. Please welcome the always insightful and fabulous Jane Freiman.
Oh, Susan, you are too kind.
Well, I think you're great, and we're super excited to have you today to talk about all things kitchen.
Indeed,
so I think Charlie's going to kick it off.
I do, and I could dominate this, which wouldn't be all that unusual, but I'm going to try not to because I want to make sure everybody has a chance to get their questions in. So I'm going to start kind of very broad, even though I have some very specific questions later. But kitchens are constantly evolving, and culture is constantly evolving. So what are the big design trends that you see that are likely going to change how we cook? Let's say in the next 5 years, pick that window over the 5 years. What are the big trends that are going to change how we cook?
Yeah, a trend that I've been watching and is getting stronger and stronger is the invisible kitchen, which is kind of interesting. So we've heard over the years, people, do not like to have lots of clutter in their kitchen. Well, think about, they don't want to even see that it is a kitchen. So refrigerators hidden by paneling, smooth surfaces, the appliance garage type situation where you have everything kind of hidden and then you can have it revealed. But take that one step further and move that into induction cooking. You think about induction cooking, you don't have to see any burners. It can be totally invisible. And that idea of having that cooktop be flexible. And so I'm seeing some startups, and one company called InvisiCook has created these like silicone pads, think of these round discs that you can place wherever on your countertop. Now the countertop is sort of induction ready. but the silicone mats are there. You place your pan there, you turn it on, instantly heats. You remove your pad, it's instantly cool. And so, what a great way to have sort of invisible cooking, the flexibility of you having the cook space wherever you want it. You can set up your kids or family members that you want to have help you cook. You know, they could be doing chopping on one side and you could be, moving around where your, pots and pans are. In talking to consumers, one of the big things is, easy cleanup. So that lends itself to easy cleanup. It's more efficient, energy wise. It's more efficient than gas coil cooktops or even gas. There's a movement to get gas out of the kitchen. It's always been sort of the chefy thing to have a gas, cooktop, but really this induction can cook just as well, if not better, than a gas cooktop. So the whole idea of sort of this invisible flexibility is where I'm seeing sort of some new news in the kitchen.
If it's not a kitchen, what is it? It sounds like a smart aleck kind of question, but like if it's not a kitchen, what is it meant to be? Is it like just a sitting area, or what is it?
It's just this area that a lot of sort of designs that I've seen have had the sort of a countertop that's sort of free of things, but then you see just this cabinetry, and you have the island that you set up as a buffet, but it looks like more furniture. So you don't, it's sort of the extension of what the living room is. And it's just this really pretty sort of paneled, area. Also the other idea of sort of secret rooms, and the idea of the butler pantry is coming back. The scullery kitchen, it's sometimes called, where it's that behind the scenes area where it's part pantry, part kitchen. That's sort of the idea of kind of that invisible. You've got that back workspace. Now, this is a design area. It could be slow to move, but that's sort of the trends that I'm seeing right now.
Very cool.
It seems like the antithesis of the open great room kitchen
Yes.
combo. It still could be, but that it would be disguised and multi-purpose. Fascinating. The other thing that I'm interested in is how the technology is evolving along with this. I mean, you and I used to watch, we would walk the houseware show, always following this, and I feel like we're still stuck on the smart refrigerator. Can you talk a little bit about what is the state of technology and smart connected in the kitchen?
Yeah, the kitchen is really a slower area for the smart connected sort of technology. It's not picking up as in other areas, for example, light bulbs and doorbells and thermostats and TVs. The kitchen is a slower area, and some of that, it's a couple things, a couple barriers that's creating this slowness. The idea of having a universal platform. So if you think about it, people are buying these tools, these small appliances and then major appliances, and everything works on a different app. The apps are not always easy to use. These sometimes glitchy. Even connecting them can be hard. So that in itself is a barrier. So there are companies that are working towards this sort of universal platform, but they're not there yet. But, companies like Fresco, which is formerly Drop, some of the major appliance companies are trying it. But again, it's rare when people buy a whole suite of the same, manufacturer for appliances, unless they're buying or building a new home. So I think that's one area. The other is, they get all excited about the smart sort of technology in the store when they're buying it. And then when they go home to set it up, sometimes it's hard to set up on the Wi-Fi. They don't have a foolproof usage the first time. So, they have problems. And all of those are creating sort of that friction and that barrier to do it again. But in a study, they said that people would connect their appliance the first time. But if there was a power surge or somehow it dropped off Wi-Fi, they're not reconnecting it. because they don't always see the value of what it's bringing. Sometimes it's also a bit of privacy, like I don't want them to know, when I'm doing what, my dishwasher sends me notifications that I've had 11 washes this month and, I was down a wash, like, do I want everyone to know that? So that's, a bit of a barrier. And then, for small appliances, what happens is if they're not successful and they don't see the benefit, they're either taking it back to the store, they're putting it in a closet, or they're giving it away. And then for the large appliances, what they're doing is they're just not using that function. So that function that sold them, they're not using, and then they get a little griped at that. And why do I, want to buy that the next time I have to replace it? So I think there's still some issues. I think manufacturers could make the usage easier. They, really should have value add, so that it really becomes that I need this and I use it every day and it becomes sort of a routine.
Yeah, I think my smart appliances are so smart. I think they're gossiping about me. I think they're like judging me for how I cook and everything.
Yours are clearly smarter than mine. We bought the new fridge when we built the house about 5 years ago. It's connected, but all it tells me is when I need to order a new filter. That's it.
Yes. Yeah, that's it. Which feels like it's for, I mean, to be serious, it feels like a lot of the connected aspect oftentimes does feel like it's more for the manufacturer side.
Absolutely.
Like buy another filter versus helping me.
Yeah, that's it. There's no upside from my perspective.
Right. Right. Speaking of, buying a new house and all that kind of stuff. I mean, depending on how you think about the housing market right now, generational. I'm curious of what your thoughts are from a generational perspective on the kitchen and how kitchens are evolving. I mean, if you look at younger generations, how they cook, may be very different. I mean, you look at like Trader Joe's, it seems like a lot of the stuff at Trader Joe's is more about assembling versus cooking. And, but it is about lots of exploration of new cuisines, new cultures. So how is a generational aspect affecting, the kitchens of tomorrow?
Well, it's interesting. It is a little bit of generational, but it is also, I always like to say it's a continuum of sort of food love and how people approach cooking. So those that really don't enjoy cooking oftentimes are the assembly or the buying the frozen, already prepared. And those that love to cook, are going further and more sort of scratch, but maybe they can't do scratch every day because they have busy lives. So I always like to think about who that person is in the sort of scale of cooking, their sort of skill level, and then generational. And what I'm seeing, and it's really interesting, that two-person households or smaller households with not having children act very similarly both generations. So like think of the boomer and think of the Gen Z or the millennial when they have presence of no children. They are more experimental, they're traveling more, so they want to, try some of those foods that they've had when they've traveled at home. They're looking for the best way to do it. They're buying a little bit more authentic ingredients. Where they're shopping, though, could be very different. But the idea is, and their sort of similarities are, they're looking for adventure, they're looking for more flavor. This is the same thing in how they think about health and their food that they make. They want to, both ends want to live longer for different reasons. One wants to live longer because they want to be able to enjoy their grandchildren. The other wants to live longer because they know they have a long life. They want to be healthy. So how they approach that and the tools that they're using, people go through phases in their sort of tool usage. I've seen where the older consumer, they might have had all these gadgets when they were younger, but as they age up, it's much easier to take out a knife and just chop something than dirty a food processor or a mini chopper. It's just easier. So they're sort of cleaning out kind of those tools and appliances and going for sort of simplicity. Where the younger consumer, I'm seeing, they're buying all those tools because, you know what, I have this recipe, and if it's going to, help me make this faster, or I'm going to get a certain cut, because I'm being more authentic, I'm going to use that. So that's kind of their differences. The other thing is where they're getting their ideas. That does vary generationally. So think about the boomer. They get all of their food ideas from cookbooks, magazines, websites. The millennials are more website bloggers and Instagram. And then the younger, the Gen Zs, it's all about TikTok. And it's so interesting to see generationally how they're approaching it through different sources. But still, and when you think of and when you talk to people, there's 5 sources where they get all their information for food. Friends and family, because they're trusted. They've either eaten at their friends and family's houses, or they know they can trust them because they're a good cook. Right now, TikTok is number 2, which is amazing to me.
It's amazing.
And then just general internet sites, and then finally cookbooks. So, it's just crazy. And the TikTok, what I really believe in, I saw this also with YouTube and, with Instagram as well. It's around entertainment. You see these foods come together. They're usually splashy and it's beautiful photography, and it gets you going. How many people are making these things? Or are they working? You don't know, but it's giving them inspiration. And so those consumers or home cooks that are more experimental and they're okay with a little failure, and they're just trying things out, that's okay. But those that have a family that, they're sitting around the table, and if they get a meal they don't like or doesn't taste good, that's not a good thing for the person that prepared it.
Yeah, makes sense. Well, you had me at grandchildren, but I know we're a little bit tight on time here, so I'm going to condense this next question. We hear a lot of talk about sustainability, right? And people are willing to talk about it. They're willing to read about it. They're willing to comment on it. But oftentimes there's a disconnect between what we talk about and what we spend our money on. Are we seeing that connection strengthen? Are we seeing people actually spend on things that are perceived to be or are actually more sustainable? Or is it really more something that I'm interested in talking about rather than putting my wallet to work?
Well, that's where the generations play in, because the younger generation is the hot button is food waste, and they do not want to waste any food. Also, sustainability and plant protein based foods, they're into that whole area. Other generations are approaching it, they feel bad about wasting food, but they don't really change the way they're cooking. But the idea of, and what I'm seeing in sort of the startup area, are food containers that help give you a cue that the food is going bad or that I should use it. There's a company called Olvi. I'm very excited because I've been watching them for, I don't know, Susan, we saw them probably at the home show
pre-pandemic
5 years ago, maybe. And it's a tagging system. Well, they've evolved, but right now they have a tagging system where on the app you say what is the product you're putting it on. So maybe it's a leftover Chinese fried rice, or maybe it's an avocado that you're storing. You code the tag, you put it on the container, and then in the refrigerator, the minute you open it up, you see lights. It's either green that it's fine, it's yellow that it's starting to go, or it's red. Toss it. How many times have you looked in your refrigerator not known how old it is? This gives you away. It also is smart, and it gives you reminders. Your avocado is starting to come to the end of its life. Why don't you make guacamole? Or here's a recipe for it. So it's giving you an idea of how to use it. So I absolutely love that. And I think it's a value to the user, that really has a benefit there. The other is vacuum sealing products. There is a new company, a startup out of Israel called Solo, and it is a one-touch sort of vacuum system. So you put your container, you put the vacuum sealer on top, you just touch a button, it seals it, it takes all the air out, and it extends the life. So I'm really excited to see some tools out there. They are aimed, I'd say maybe the younger generation, because they are so hot on this area. And I am excited about it. And they're
Very cool.
they're the ones that are going to do it.
Very cool. Well, we got about 2 minutes before we got to go to the quiz. So Susan, I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah. So, Jane, you may not be aware, but Charlie is all about his pork butt. It's smoke, right, Charlie?
Yeah. But people come from all around just to smell my butt when it's cooking.
Yeah, they do. His butt is
Oh.
loved. So I think Charlie is just going to be mesmerized by the new indoor cooker. So could
It's
you
over. I'm going to order it as soon as the show's over.
let Jane say what it is?
Okay.
Well, so at CES, I'm always looking in different places on what's the new latest appliance. And GE just showcased and launched in their profile line an indoor smart smoker. And what I absolutely love about this is GE has a innovation center called First Build, and this idea came through the First Build initiative. And this is a smoker that you can have on your counter inside in your kitchen. You can smoke whatever you want. It has 3 racks, and each rack holds about 15 pounds. So you could smoke with the same flavor of smoke a pork butt, a wings, ribs, whatever you want to do. I wouldn't say it's so much faster than outdoor, but how many times when you want to maybe smoke outdoors, it has to be a certain temperature, right? It can't be too cold. My father had a fiasco of smoking a turkey one year and in the cold, and it didn't work. So the idea of how they've created this filtration system through a cat black converter that really pulls out all the bad pieces of the smell and just allows that true smoking, highest quality on the meat. It has 8 modes, presets. You can override the presets. They thought of everything. So it's really an exciting tool that's come out, and just flavorful, moist meat. So that's an exciting thing. But also, there's a lot of things for speed cooking. So it's interesting to see how some of these tabletop or actually countertop units are coming out. And if the idea is a compelling idea, it's interesting to see some of the major manufacturers to incorporate them into their ovens. So there's like a combination steam air fryer that was announced by Dreo that has precision cooking. So at very little effort, you can have the most amazing lamb chops or leg of lamb. There's a macrowave that's in early stages of development by Revolution Cooking, where they have a patented instant glow unit, so they can get moist inside and crispy on the outside in a foolproof way. So there's some interesting things out there, but the GE indoor smart smoker, I think, is a really cool one.
Jane, Charlie's already made it known to Kevin and I his birthday is next month, and that we need to find one of these for him.
He set up like a GoFundMe, I think, or something.
Well, I mean, it's just 10 easy payments of $50 a piece for each of you for 10 months, and we're there.
Yeah.
Right, I've already set it up.
Includes some butt.
And I'll give you a free subscription to something.
Right.
If you sign up. So excellent. Jane, thank you. We could spend hours and hours on this. It's just fascinating, all the work that you've done and the insight that you bring. It's great to have the conversation. But Kevin, we're going to turn it over to you to do our quiz. And Jane, you are more than welcome to stick around and participate.
I will. Thank you.
Well, the quiz today is based on a red letter day in March, which is March 29th, which is the 20th anniversary of Look East. This is a red letter day. So this quiz
Oh, a tiara.
This
There we go.
quiz is all about Look East, Charlie's company, Look East.
Yes.
So that's what this whole
I
thing
probably
is.
shouldn't participate.
No,
you-
Jane
you
and
will-
I are going to guess, and then
Jane
you're going
and
to give
you-
us the answer.
That's right. So
okay.
yes. So we're going to start off, and Jana helped us put Jana, who works with Charlie, helped us put this together. So this is kind of like, this is your life, Charlie. The original name for Look East was CMA. What does CMA stand for? Does it stand for Cookies, Milk, and Ambition? Does it stand for Caliber Marketing and Advertising? Does it stand for Charlie Michael Arnott? Or does it stand for Chaos Management Association?
I'm going to go B.
Caliber Marketing and
I
Advertising.
agree.
Charlie?
Not very creative. It's just my name and my middle initial. Charlie Michael Arnott.
It's yes.
Wow.
When the attorney asked, what do you want to name the company? I'm like, I have no idea. Well, you have to incorporate it. So I did. And that's what we went with.
There
Oh,
you go. Yep.
okay.
Very simple.
All right. Who was Look East's first client? Was it A, Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey? Was it Tyson Foods? Was it the Pickle Packers International? Or was it Premium Standard Farms?
Jane, what do you think?
Premium Standard Farms.
I think so.
Charlie?
That is correct. I wish it would have been Ringling Brothers. I did get to spend quite a bit of time with the former lion tamer, working with them in a whole different life. So that was fun.
Of course you did, Charlie.
Yes.
Charlie had such great background.
Did you wear a tiara?
No, he did not wear a tiara, but he snuggled all of the animals and fed them a whole bunch of meat before they went upstairs to do the show.
Wow.
Gunther
That's-
Gable Williams. You may have heard the
Oh
name.
yeah, absolutely.
So I get to spend an afternoon with him. So that was fun.
Wow.
Awesome. But not as part of a project.
Not as part. Well, yeah, it was when I was in radio. Way back.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Question 3. Look East helped launch the Center for Food Integrity in 2007 to do what? Was it A, to educate consumers about food production? Was it to B, build trust in today's food system? Was it to C, research the psychological effects of naming food products? Or D, increase food safety across the food value chain?
B.
Yeah.
B,
I agree.
build trust? Charlie?
That is correct.
That
We
is
took
correct.
the extension of what we were doing at Look East, brought a bunch of companies together. They were all interested in building trust. That became the Center for Food Integrity.
All right. In 2009, Look East partnered with Iowa State University on research to develop a consumer trust model that's the foundation of everything Look East and CFI do. That model shows that communicating with shared values is 3 to 5 times more important to earning trust than sharing what? A, the latest celebrity gossip. B, facts and information. C, your mom's famous meatloaf recipe. Or D, your tax returns for the past decade.
B.
I think it's B. Isn't that right,
Yeah,
Charlie?
it is B. Yeah. Shared values are much more important than sharing data, which was kind of an epiphany for particularly the ag and food
It
system
is.
at that point, where it was
Yeah.
data, and we just haven't given them enough data. So we're going to do more research so we can give them more data. We had to
Right.
flip that on its head to say it's not about the data. It's about connecting on values first, and then you're given permission to share information.
Which
Good.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. The next two are very, very fun. Charlie travels extensively on the road consulting with clients in food and ag, speaking and training. Which one of these did not happen during Charlie's travels? Charlie, A, was it Charlie and Bruce Springsteen had coffee together at Chicago O'Hare after Charlie struck up a conversation on an escalator? Was it B, Charlie forgot his suitcase, so he had to go on a major shopping spree when he arrived at his destination? Was it C, he was among a hotel full of guests evacuated after it was discovered international terrorists were staying there? Or was it D, he basically slept in a janitor's closet because the hotel was sold out and they gave away his room?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow. I'm going to say, I don't think a hotel would let you sleep in a janitor's closet.
Okay, Jane?
Bruce Springsteen?
You got it. I did not meet Bruce Springsteen. All the rest of those stories are, in fact, true from
Oh
traveling.
my gosh.
Can you believe that? All right, that's a whole nother podcast we could do about all of those. Last one. Before venturing into PR, Charlie was a journalist working both in radio and TV. Early in that career, he was thrown out of the Detroit Yacht Club, the Detroit Athletic Club, and the General Motors building while doing what? Was it A, trying to sell rooftop garden kits? Was it B, working on a documentary with Michael Moore on the film Roger and Me? Was it C, giving free hugs as part of a social experiment? Or D, testing the lobby acoustics by singing Whitney Houston's I Will Always Love You?
It's Roger Moore.
I don't know. Was it Roger Moore?
No, it was Michael Moore. Michael Moore, not Roger Moore. Roger Moore would have been 007. Yeah, but it was Michael Moore. So it was a lot of fun being thrown out of all of those places and other places that didn't make it into the film. So.
Oh my goodness.
Awesome.
That is
well,
excellent.
Congrats, Charlie, for
Thank
20
you.
years.
That was a nice surprise, Kevin. I appreciate that.
Well,
thanks for collaborating
Thanks,
with
Jana, because she put that together. So that's
Congrats.
great. So
Awesome.
wonderful
Awesome.
stories.
Appreciate
Yes,
it.
congratulations.
Thank you. Well, thank you for joining us for this edition of Three Squares. You can always reach out to us by contacting us at threesquaresmail@gmail.com, the numeral 3squaresmail@gmail.com. We will catch you again in April. Thanks and have a great day. Take care.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.